from the place of know-how to the place of perfection. All right, so today's session will be having Mrs. Nnenna. Mrs. Nnenna has been with us from the beginning till now. She's been a powerful force. She's been what do you call it now? She's been an encourager in different ways. She has encouraged the convener, Greatness Olorun Femi. So I would like Mrs. Greatness Olorun Femi is going to introduce her later to us. But for last week, we had a session. So I don't know if any one of us would like to share our experiences of what we learned last week, what we experienced. All right, so today's zone is practical steps to personal transformation, and it's going to take place in the next 8 minutes. While we are here convening together and getting ourselves known, I'd like you to please introduce yourself one after the other. Tell us what you do, what have you done with what you have learned so far from the past Zoom sessions that we've had. Since the month of August, we've been having trainings. And our convener has been so kind to us that she has not even charged us much. We've had several master classes. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to move from the process of having to use my hands to being able to achieve so much, So can any other person share what they have learned so far? Is there anyone who would like to share their experience? I'll put up my video now so any other person can be spotlighted. Thank you. Is there anyone who wants to speak? Benedicta, Alex.
I'm muted. Can anyone hear me now? Can anyone hear me? Is my
session will be
The line is breaking. Is it my
okay, but I can okay, I can hear clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay, okay.
Can you hear me too?
Dare wants to share. I can see his turn on his video.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening. See your handsome face. Hey, no wonder your son is cute like you.
You are making me blush, oh. Anyway, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Destiny Olorundare.
Thank you. I think I just want to say that it's actually a pleasure being here. And I was at the last session where we treated a number of issues, especially that of investment, where he said we should invest in notable platforms that suit our own capacity, according to your own capacity, but just start anyhow. Just make sure you start, do your due diligence. And so I really learned a lot from that. And then we're also thought that we shouldn't even despise the little that we can start with. We should not wait until we have all it takes before we save. And of particular interest is there is this man, I forgot his name now, that shared a kind of formula that he uses that what 20%, 10% go to this,
okay.
That to myself. So I'm really,
Thank you so much.
I think it's working. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Olorundare. We really appreciate that. Okay, so for those of us who were not here last week, what we discussed last week was networking and building effective relationships. And it was taken by Mrs. Olubusola Abidakun. Now, I'd like to let you know that for you to progress in life, you need some categories of persons. You need coaches, you need mentors, and you need sponsors. And particularly sponsors, because sponsors are the ones who actually speak for us when we are not there. They are the ones who do the buy-in for other people to know the kind of persons that we are. And so in building a relationship, you need these groups of people in our lives. Coaches, we need mentors, we need sponsors. So Mrs. Nnenna is here. She's one of our coaches. She's one of our mentors, and she's also a sponsor. So I'd like you to make use of this opportunity to learn all that you can in this short period. Thank you. Who else would like to share with us what you've experienced so far?
Alex, I used to call him Pastor Alex because he can coach you, he can counsel you, he can fit into the daddy role.
Wow.
And he has been consistent. He has been consistent in all of the sessions. Are you there? Yes, I know he's there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Oh.
So, okay, the last session was.
Okay, I don't know. Is it my network?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so sometimes we have we meet people to meet up with them to ask for their contacts because we think they might say no, and we're afraid to hear the word no. Or sometimes we meet people, we get their contact, and we embarrass them with so much calls and messages, not knowing the ethics of how to manage the networking, especially when these people are high up in the society. So what I learned last week really helped me throughout this week because I met a lot of people this week, and I met people, some notable people in the society who control the industry of oil and gas, and also the minister himself. So you see, getting the numbers, I had to practice what I learned last week. Amazing. And I had to contact them within 24 to 24.
Wow, I love that.
You know, surprisingly, I was like, oh, really? So this man is responding. Yeah, you know, and one of them said, hey, Alex, I like the way you were so energetic. You were so this. I didn't even know they were noticing me, you know? So now the next step is, what do I really need from these guys? What can they do for me in my industry, in my company, and all that? So last week lesson, in fact, is one of a kind. I really have started practicing the networking and relationship thing. I met someone, the MD of Mainstream Energy, Kainji Dam, and we're together for 2 days. And he was like, hey, buddy, I like you. You need to get in touch with me all the time because I like to hear from people like you. You know, this is somebody who is a billionaire talking to, you know, me and telling me he likes to hear from me. But, you know, I had to be careful not to be too much in a haste to want to bombard him with too many messages. So those were things I learned last week, and it's really helpful, and I would like everyone to practice the same. If you can listen to the recordings over and over again, it will help you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Hello, please, where can we get the recording since I wasn't in class last week?
Okay, you can check out for, hold on a second, I have to pick my Nnenna's call. Hello, ma.
So while Greatness is on the call, this session will be co-facilitated also with Mr. Ndubisi Nwagboh, who is also a colleague to Mrs. Nnenna Kayode-Lawal at Keystone Bank.
He's a very junior colleague.
I understand that.
Wondering why he has been put on the same panel.
He's the energy unit head in Keystone Bank, and we're glad to have him in our midst today. And sorry, Benedict, I think you're the one who asked about the last session's recordings, right? Hello, Bene.
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right then. So Greatness I'm sure Greatness has your email address.
Can everyone hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. So I'm sure Greatness has your email address and she would forward that to you.
Okay, I was going to say, please, can you on YouTube, right? Just check Greatness Unleashed by Law Foundation. All the videos for the last sessions are there on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, just search for Greatness Unleashed by Law Foundation. That's our YouTube channel. All the videos are there from session 1 to 8. We've had, the session 1 to 7. We've had 7 sessions. Today is the 8th session. I hope everybody heard me.
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so it's 7 o'clock now. I think we can start today's session. So Mr. Ndubisi is here with us.
Yeah, Madam Nnenna as well.
Mr. Ndubisi is here with us. So we've already shared our experiences and we've shared what we've done, how to utilize what we've learned so far. So we can commence. And our convener, Greatness Olorunfemi, is going to read to us or tell us more about the Greatness Foundation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Please let's celebrate Queen Meg. Queen Meg Ade. I like to call her Queen Meg Ade. Yes, you can unmute yourself and please just celebrate her. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So first of all, I want to say thank you to Madam Nnenna for this is our 3rd session with us, and she's of course. I'm not, how will I say this now? I'm so grateful for the honor to always have every month. She commenced this series for us on the 22nd of August. And this is our 3rd time. And I want to say thank you. She's been, as Meg said it earlier, if you were not on the call then, please, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So Meg said
yes, I can.
She has been my coach, my mentor, my sponsor, and yes, she has been, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I want to say thank you as well to Mr. Ndubisi. Like, these people's schedule are very tight. Like, I've experienced their schedule. They making out time for us is a huge sacrifice, and I want to say thank you once again. So I'll just be brief. Our vision is raising men and ladies of global and internal influence, and we do this by reaching out, teaching, and nurturing everyone, especially those that people condemn, the abused, orphans, sex workers, prisons, and other underprivileged people, to believe that they are unconditionally loved and believe there's greatness in them and help them unleash their greatness irrespective of their past and present. And we do projects for organizations that also believe in what we do. We are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. However, we don't have a website yet. We have held life transforming meetings in 10 tertiary institutions, and we have done programs in the southern, western, and eastern part of Nigeria. There is no bias about the north. It's just because we are not yet inspired to go there. So please don't ask me why. So at the tertiary institutions, we do skill acquisition programs where we equip people with skills that they can convert to make money. We empower them to make money. And part of why Well, so we noticed that aside from empowering these people with skills, right, it begins from the mind. And that's why we're doing this financial independence workshop to say, okay, let's help people intellectually, let's help program people. So this 12-week series is more like a programming for us to be programmed for wealth, right? So we've also done a love outreach, Feed 50 love outreach program called Feed 50, and I'll be showing you some pictures shortly. We also have a sister platform called Shusha and the Palace, where we train unmarried ladies that are waiting for their king to experience the God kind of marriage in order to reduce the rate of divorce and dysfunctional homes and individuals. So we are aligned with the SDGs. The first one is ending poverty in all its forms, and that's why we do what we're currently doing, and also some of our skill acquisition programs. The second SDG is the Zero Hunger SDG, where we actually want to help people. What we did was to feed people and also inspire them. Right now, we want to upskill this, right, by making it that in every tertiary institution where we are established, we have a catering outfit where people that are underprivileged can actually eat. 50 people can come and eat for free, right? And also with that, we are empowering people with jobs. And these people that are getting this job know that they are not doing it just for the money, they are doing it because of a cause. So these are some of the pictures for
I don't know. I can never. I can't refer to my toys again.
What?
Everything is
let me. Please, can you mute yourself? You're not talking with us so that we'll have little interference. Thank you. So the third SDG is good health and well-being, and that's why we do our emotional recovery program, which we call making. Please, can you mute yourself? Okay, I'll just do this. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I would make
you can actually mute everyone.
Yes, I've done that, and I'll make our panelists the co-hosts so that they can unmute themselves when they're ready. Make co-hosts. Oh yeah, so we're good to go. Sorry, because I want us to glean from those people wealth of wisdom, so I'm trying to rush as much as I can. Okay, please. So yes, so we work with professional therapists, coaches, counselors, in order to support people with their emotional recovery. And another SDG is SDG 5, which is gender equality, and most of our programs are focused on ladies, and that is just to balance things up, right? And these are some of the programs we've done for ladies. And the last but not the least is reduced inequality, which we do by going to schools for those with special disabilities. And we empower them because we believe that beyond, everyone has actually a measure of disability, but theirs is special because it's physical. And so that's why we actually do all this outreaches and projects for these people. You can see pictures that shows some of the things that we have done. And here is our social media details. Please connect with us to stay connected with our programs. And we like to solicit for your support and partnership, and that's not limited to financial. Yes, you can do financial, but there are a number of things. You can volunteer with your skill, your time, your advisory, anything you can use to partner with us. At the end of today's session, we will need your feedback so that we can get better. Our facilitators need your feedback as well so that everyone can get better and we can do better. Thank you. So to our first panelist, Mr. Ndubisi Nwagboh. Please forgive me if I didn't pronounce your name very well. It's not deliberate. I'm not an evil girl. He is a strong business developer with credit analysis and risk management skills. Hey, pardon my skills spelling. Yeah. Sorry. Risk management skills developed from a combination of educational qualifications and on-the-job experience garnered over a decade of banking experience covering retail, commercial, and corporate banking. He's an alumnus of Imo State University, holds an MBA in marketing from the University of Lagos. He is also a professional member of some professional bodies like the Nigeria Institute of Management and Institute of Credit Administration. Our second panelist is Mrs. Nnenna Kayode-Lawal, who is an experienced head of corporate bank with a demonstrated history of working in the banking industry. She is a transformation and executive coach with over 20 years experience in corporate finance, investment banking, commercial and retail banking, banking operations and business strategy, and financial analysis. She has strong administrative and relationship management / people skills. She graduated from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and she's also an alumnus of University of Cambridge and University of Leicester. Please unmute. Okay, I've muted you. Let me stop sharing and unmute you. I want us to please clap and scream as we welcome our panelists. And I will take the first question. From the question, they will just share, right? And if you have questions as well, you can drop in the chat room for them to answer. Please unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself now. And please celebrate our panelists for making out their time. I know your own time is also precious, but you know, we are the receiving end right now to learn from them. So let's celebrate them. I can't hear claps. So.
Welcome.
Wow. Welcome, welcome, sir. Thank you for always being there for us.
Thank you very
much.
As always.
Welcome.
Okay, so
thank you.
Thank you. So my first question is, what are the practical steps from the topic, right? The practical steps that you have taken to experience transformation in your own personal life. And I am thinking, so who is going to go first, Madam Nnenna or Mr. ND? Practical steps you have taken.
I have respect. I have respect.
Let's see your handsome face. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Go, Ma.
So, well, I think Ndubisi wants to share some experiences first before we start asking questions. So okay. I think maybe he should start, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ma.
Hey, okay.
It's a bit strange for him, so let's encourage him.
It's not a bit, it's totally strange. It's like, I'm used to listening to my madam, and as Nnenna is teaching, I'm used to writing.
Welcome, sir.
So to throw me outside there,
explain that to you.
Like sink or swim today. Thank you.
Just say that.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so yesterday I begged him to send his picture and his profile, and he said no, that he does not have one. So I had to go and dig it. I had to go and dig
out. And it's old.
Because his picture and profile, I told him I'm CIA, that I'll definitely get it. So please, yes, let's encourage him. I know he can do this. I've heard him speak. Yeah, so let's encourage him. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I thank you for the opportunity, right? And more especially, I thank my Madam Nnenna, who has graciously allowed me to share the stage with her. I don't know what her plans are. She knows I'm still under training. I carry a big black book whenever I enter Nnenna's office. This is the book. And to the extent that I have not finished filling up the book, I wonder how she will throw me under the bus by throwing me outside like this. But I know she will have my back. So let us let's begin. My presentation will just be me sharing my experience, and perhaps maybe hopefully people can learn from the things I have done or have not done and try to create a new consciousness or self for themselves. So I would where do I start this from now? So I joined Keystone Bank 2 years ago, 2 odd years ago, I think the 1st of March 2018. And I came from a different financial institution, one that was very intellectually charged, to the point of aggression, and then I was new to management or leadership. And then I reported to Nnenna's unit. Where from the onset, we were 2 different people. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello?
you.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
From the onset, we were 2 different people, right? Nnenna clearly had established herself as a leader. I was just coming into management. And so I was more short run in my thinking, the typical kind of robot-like manager, devoid of emotion. She was more long-term, where she would push empathy. I would just come demanding immediate service. Let us do this now, crush whoever is in our way. So we were completely 2 different individuals. And of course, we kept having pain points. And this dragged on and on, and really, really strained our relationship. But she kept true to, her nature. From time to time, she will call me and sit me down and start to talk. Nnenna introduced me to consciousness, awareness, metacognition. And she will ask me soul searching questions, deep questions that will get me thinking. My analytical mind is, you don't want to begin to process it, And so those things kind of set me on a path for enlightenment. It took me 2 odd years to finally come full circle and see that there was a lot of negative energy, pent up anger, unprocessed emotions, misconceptions about leadership and management that I had come to the table with. And so she kept, from a biological perspective, pruning away at the synaptic nerves that had fired and wired these things in my brain. And so every time I always share with her, I tell her that, look, I am literally a 360-degree man because I met Nnenna, So at every point in time, I always look for the opportunity to have further engagements with her. And so this is basically what I did. I had to come to a point where I realized that the human being I was at that time was not going to get me very far, both in life, on and off the job, and that I literally had to change from the old self and create a new self, a new state of mind, a new level of consciousness if I was to become a better man, And I'm going to share from a science perspective, so perhaps we can better understand the journey and what it takes when you say you want to evolve. So let's look at the brain. The brain has, give or take, 86 billion neurons inside it. So it's a very, very powerful machine. And to change, the process of change requires, first of all, to unlearn So you literally conditioning, the laws of life have built into you, the beliefs that you built over the years. You need to unlearn them and relearn a new state of mind, right? While unlearning, while the latter is a function of firing and wiring, the former is a case of circuits being trained. So let me break what I'm explaining down a bit. Nerve cells. When we learn or when we memorize stuff, it simply means nerve cells in the brain, and when they are wiring and firing, they band together. And when these nerve cells come together, these things now build back into your subconscious mind. And that's what we call habits, belief systems that now propel you. And so the process of changing is to first go back to self, and start to unlock character. And then by the time you do, to start to create a new self based on what you now determine for yourself, or this is the kind of person I want to become, or this is kind of person, maybe you have seen certain role models that you want to fashion your life along how they have lived theirs. Then you can now start to create a new level of mind, right? Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you. We're following.
We're hearing you. We're here.
We're with
Please,
you.
please feel free. Boss, put your mouth inside this thing. You know how.
Okay. You're doing well. You're doing well.
Yeah,
Well,
let me put you on.
Yes.
So basically, when you stop thinking the same way, like your old self, when you inhibit your habituations, self begins to neurologically get pruned away, like the nerve cells I was explaining in the brain. The more you unlearn the old self, those nerve cells that have wired and fired and bonded together, creating memory, they start to break away, right? And then so as they dislodge from each other, your consciousness, and as they leave you, they are not exactly destroyed or evaporated, but they are absorbed into the subconscious mind as wisdom. So when you reflect on an event from the past that is emotionally charged, that continue to drive certain behaviors in you, the moment you can unlearn, and these synaptic nerves are dislodged, that memory doesn't exactly.
Mr. Ndubisi, please unmute yourself.
He muted himself.
Sorry.
Disappear, right?
Apologies.
Okay, where did I stop? Yeah.
When
where did I stop?
Okay, can someone share where you stopped? Last thing I heard was someone saying something? Hello?
Hello? Where did I stop, guys?
Okay, so you were talking about the disconnection of the cells. That was the last thing I heard before I discovered
okay,
that.
Good. Yes. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I said memory, nerve cells that fire together, wire together, and they create memory in the brain. These memories are events that have happened in the past that shape us and make us unconsciously create a future of an expected end, right? So to unlearn the old self, when you stop thinking in the same way you ordinarily would think, when you inhibit your habituations and then interrupt those emotional addictions, right? The old self starts to prune away. So those nerve cells that ordinarily will band together, form a memory, form a habit, and then drive your behavior going forward. They dislodge, you know, and when they dislodge, they free up the mind, they free up energy, and that newly freed up energy, you can now channel it into creating a new level of mind or a new level of consciousness along the lines that you now desire. So I want to be a happy person going forward. I need to be able to sit down and over time continue to self-reflect and ask myself, why am I always angry? Okay, when I get angry, what are the thoughts that drive this anger? What kind of behavior do I exhibit when I'm angry? How do I stop them? How do I consciously hold myself not to act out in an expected end? Like once he gets angry, okay, what? The next thing now he'll break a glass. Next thing now he'll insult somebody. How do I, first of all, observe these behaviors, observe these thoughts, and then gradually start to slow them down till I can prune the way. So anger no longer becomes a familiar emotion to me. By the time I dislodge anger, I have to replace it with something. So then it is now at my beck and call to choose. Do I want to replace anger with happiness? Do I want to replace anger with abundance? And if I want to do that, then I start to wire and fire the nerve cells that will forge that memory and the chemical signature in my mind and in my heart. Does it make sense?
Yes, perfect. You're sounding like one of our coaches.
Okay.
Like Madam Nnenna will testify to that.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Well done.
So, you know, if you, from a science perspective, thoughts are languages of the brain. Emotions of feelings are languages of the body, right? So how you think and how you feel determines your personality. And then by extension, your personality determines your personal reality. So if I consciously think and feel thoughts of happiness and abundance and peace and giving and love, I would gradually build a personality around these thoughts and the chemical or the chemical or the emotional signatures that they represent. And by the time this personality is formed inside me, you know, some of the rules that Madam has taught us here, we are what we think about. It is only natural, right, that my personality would determine my personal reality. So once I can create a consciousness of abundance, a consciousness of peace, a consciousness of love and happiness, it's only a matter of time. It will translate into my physical environment, and everything around me will be love, abundance, and consciousness. Madam Nnenna, am I correct?
Yes, you're very correct. I'm
I have to bring out. You have to go and help your boy.
You're very correct. You're very correct. It's what he's talking about is breaking patterns and finding inner peace. That's just the summary of what he's talking about. We have our regular patterns. You know, some of us have been conditioned in certain ways. Some people have been conditioned from environments where anger thrives, hatred, jealousy, so many things. So we can actually change, you know, who we are by reconditioning ourselves, because the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what you think about is what you become. And if you keep thinking about that thing, you continue to become that thing. I remember last week, the issues got to me. And Ndubisi started coaching me. And he said, to me that, you know, that I keep, because the more I kept processing the problem, the more I conditioned myself and the more problems were, manifesting. So he said, remember what you teach us. Come out of that mode. Stop thinking about it. Find different thoughts. Find something new and think about. So I said, okay. I said, thank you. And it really helped me because I changed my, I decided to choose a different thought line and change my thoughts. And, I felt you just have to be conscious and decide what kind of life do I want to live? What kind of thoughts do I want to think? What do I want to achieve today? Like, it's like just planning your day. When you wake up in the morning, you have to plan your day and decide it's going to be a successful day. So when you make those decisions in the morning, and then anything tries to disrupt it, because you have taken the decisions, you go back to your focus, But when you don't have a plan for your day and things just come and start pushing us up and down, we just keep following. Somebody abuses us, we get upset from that anger, we start abusing, and things just keep moving on. Or we can actually plan to have a beautiful day and focus on it and choose who can be very destructive. And like I always say, the mind is a thought-making machine. The going on and on and on, and all the unpleasant experiences, just keep being recorded in the mind. And so we can actually have good experiences in life because God created us in love. We are created to function in love, and anything that is contrary to that love, that's why you see that when something negative happens around you, maybe you're just happy doing your own thing, somebody comes and tells you a bad news, what happens? Or somebody insults you and you respond negatively. You start having headache, or you start feeling some kind of negative feeling. That's because the body is not meant to function in that state. The body, as the Bible says in 1 John, it's meant to function in unconditional love. And it has also been said that sickness cannot thrive in a body that lives in unconditional love. So anything contrary to love is destructive. So I don't know, maybe we'll have some questions before we continue, so I don't just keep talking and talking. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much, Ma. Does anybody have any question? If you have any questions, so you can raise your hand. There's a raise a hand icon. You can raise your hand. I think, Pastor Alex, you have a question or you want to share something? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. I was looking for the raise your hand button, but I couldn't find it on my screen.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ndubisi. Thank you, Madam Nnenna. Okay, talking about dislodging things like especially anger, replacing with happiness or something else you'd like to replace it with, firing the right kind of nerve cells and reconditioning ourselves. Is there any practical example you can really give about this? Because this is good, sounds good, and would like to understand how this can be applied practically in life.
Okay.
So on remembering
let me share what I did.
Okay, good.
Let me share how I process things like this. So my old self, right, used to be very, If I walk into a room, I want to be the most intelligent person in the room. And you know, that would give people the negative kind of vibe immediately. They were like, what's this guy about? Why is his nose so stuck up? I always want to win every argument, be it intellectually or what I want to be, have the upper hand, right? So I don't pay attention to the softer issues for people. I am confrontational. That time I used to think I knew it all. I used to think life was all about your IQ, you know, and nothing of emotional intelligence. So you could really sum me up to be, you know, the kind of dude that you don't want to engage with because I'll just give you the wrong vibe, right? And so I brought that energy into my team. Before I go any further, easily today on record, I probably have the most effective team in my bank today. The individuals in my team are world-class people, right? But when I started to manage this group of people, because we see the world the way we are, all that anger, all that aggression, I threw it at this bunch of guys. And so I could never see any good in what the output that they used to have. And so I kind of a particular day, I went to my boss. I told her, Nnenna, this particular staff, I am not going to confirm her. I'm going to extend her confirmation. I'm going to this. And she was just looking at me, you know. And when when Madam Nnenna wants to cancel it, she will first look, then you just hear,
Yes, exactly.
Then she will sit back.
Exactly.
She's processing. Then she will sit back and clasp her hands like this. And she now told me, do you know that these people you have are probably one of the best in this bank? Have you looked inside you to check whether the issues are with you, not with them? I couldn't get it. In fact, it annoyed me the more, you know. But speaking to what Pastor has just asked, I had to go back. Yes, I had to go back and start to ask myself that these guys that I have that can't seem to produce any fantastic report, but from credential perspective, these guys are easily 2-1 first class material. These guys are brainy. So where is the problem? Is it in attitude? So I had to self-reflect. And so, Pastor, the first thing you need to do to replace anger with happiness is to first build your consciousness, to build your awareness, because human beings are the only species that is metacognitive. What do I mean by metacognitive? It means that we can literally stand outside of ourselves and assess ourselves. So I can sit down now and have an inside argument with the ND that is inside me and be checking, ND, why do you always get angry? Or ND, why do things hurt you like this? I can assess my character. That's metacognition. And so when you identify, and you have to be true to yourself, where you see truth, please call it what it is. You know, because it's very easy for us human beings sometimes to cast aspersions on people or to blame others and never accept blame. Where you know, if you really want to change, you have to be vulnerable enough to accept blame where the blame is your own. So I started to ask myself, these guys, some of them even have better grades from school than I did. What gives me the right to be so judgmental about their outputs? Okay, even if I have been opportuned to have more exposure, more access to clients and information, does that mean I have to lord over them with it? If I was lorded over, or if I was denied these opportunities when I was coming up, will I honestly be able to stand and say, yes, I'm an intelligent man, I have this pedigree, I have that? So I started to realize that the bulk of the problem was with me. And I tell you for a fact, the moment that consciousness shifted inside me, the same set of people who could do no right. These days, I struggle to make on what they are writing. There's a day I went to Nnenna's office and I was telling her that, boss, Vincent sent an email to you, and I swore I thought I was the one that wrote it. It was flawless. And she was looking at me, she said, you see, is it not people say, but they were kidding. I said, look, I couldn't correct anything. Before I used to have it, they used to tell me, Ogared Biro, that's what they used to call me. Whenever they send me that, they go and print it and bring it. Hello?
So we're here.
We are here. We are feeling you. We are feeling you.
Whenever they write anything for me, I'll say, go and print it and bring it. When they bring it, I will bring out my red Bible. By the time I finish painting the thing with enough shout, you defeat them. So at some point, they say when the ear hears no praise, the heart stops caring. So they just gave up and said, well, since you feel you know it all, kill yourself with the work now. But the moment I, self-reflected and I sought change, my whole team, individually, I went after each and every one of them and I apologized for the kind of human being I had been up to that point. And I made them a commitment that for as long as they will have me as their boss, I will do better. And so I went as far as creating a leadership table in my office where they could appraise me when I'm not there to determine at what point they feel, I have led them. Is he leading well? They keep moving it up a notch on the chart. Is he leading poorly? The thing starts to come back down. So with all those tools, I was able to, shift my mindset, right? But to summarize it for you, sir, the first things first is to honestly make an assessment of yourself and be ready to accept, because the truth will come at you. You will see it. Please be open-minded enough to accept where you have faults and be vulnerable enough to retrace your steps. And every day, some days it will be tough, you lose your temper, you will make mistakes, but be ready and be quick enough to retrace your steps, apologize for it, and try to be better. Just get back on the horse. It's not a day's job. It takes a while, but over time, I found out these days that I cannot retain anger. If I'm angry, it physically affects my body. I break out into frown lines, my face will darken. I cannot, until I purge myself of it, I cannot move forward. Unlike before, where 3 years of anger, I can keep it inside my chest and I'll be waiting for you. But so it's a life process. It's a life process. Sometimes I kid you not. Ask my madam, I've left my office in VI before to go and apologize at Oregon to, if you compare us in level, maybe the girl will have maybe like 8, 9, 10 levels between me and her. When I showed up in the office, her boss ran away. They thought I came to make that man has come. They were afraid. They were afraid. And I went and I said, I spoke out of line to you last night. I have no right to do that. It will not happen again. Please, the girl was just looking at me like this. Wow. That what is happening? But I needed to do that, right? Because those things will teach me to humble myself so that I better manage my emotions next time. When I know that I will have to drive from Victoria Island to Oregu because of 2 minutes of losing my temper, I will caution myself the next time and I will engage the person a bit more professionally. So over time, life, we are creatures of habit. That's how you unlearn the old self and gradually replace it with a completely different frame of mind. Did I answer your question, sir?
Mr. Alex, did I answer your question?
Very well, very well. I already said, wow, that's remarkable.
Yes, it dropped the chat for you to say that that's remarkable.
I don't know if you can see this table.
Yes, I can see that.
Can you make any sense?
The biological model of change. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the past and the future. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you see that from a science perspective, my madam says I like too much of science, that I overthink things. From a science perspective, my madam is very spiritual.
He's very intelligent, so I told him that he likes, he's very intelligent. He likes
Thank you,
science.
thank you, thank you.
From a science perspective, there is a model of change, right? So you unlearn and relearn a new future. You break the habit of being your old self and you reinvent your new self. You prune synaptic connections, the nerve cells that I talked about in the brain that form memory. You prune them away and then you sprout new connections. So every day I wake up, there was something Nnenna taught me. I speak into the day before I stand up from my bed. So at that point, when you are just rising from bed, it is that time that the subconscious mind is at its rawest power. Anything you're speaking at that wee hours of the morning, you give life to them. So I wake up and I say, God, I thank you for a brand new day. Today will be full of your blessings. Today I will not lose my temper. Today, everybody I touch, I will leave them with a smile on their face. Today, and I'm saying it as if I'm talking to people, but I'm just talking to myself, right? This is gradually, as you say those things and affirm those things every day, right? You manifest them into your reality. You literally become a different kind of person, you know.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Like, this is practical steps to personal transformation. Thank you, Mr. Ndubisi, for being so open and vulnerable. I mean, like, some people only tell us the good side, but you were open to actually, you know, tell us when you unleashed and even drove down to Oregu from BI. You know, so two people raised their hands. Mr. Ejiofor, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. So it wasn't a question, right?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Oh, Mr. Ejiofor, see your pretty wife. Good evening.
It wasn't a question, but I was loving my heart for what Andy was pouring out. I felt it. I mean, it struck me. And I just wanted to say thumbs up. Good one, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Thank you.
You. Thank you, sir.
Story now,
Thank
brother.
you.
You were there. You were in the trenches with us, sir.
Correct.
Well done. Well done. Thank you, Mr. Ejiofor, and your beautiful wife. Thank you, Mr. Edache.
Thank you, sir.
You raised your hands as well. Meg, over to you now.
So thank you so much, Mr. Andy. Thank you, Mrs. Kayode-Lawal.
Mr. Edache raised his hand as
well. So I'd like to know, does anybody have a question?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't want to ask a question now?
No, I wasn't going to ask a question. I was just going to...
okay, please go ahead, sir.
I was just going to affirm some of the things that have been said by Madame and Andy. You know, I'm one of those people also trying to battle emotions, you know, anger and all of those. I've had some private discussions with Madame, and I say to her, anytime I lose my temper, you know, because you're conscious of it, like Andy rightly said, because you're conscious of it, anytime you go and miss, your body just tells you that something is, what you've done is bad. Irrespective of the facts or the points you wanted to prove. The question is, I mean, wasn't there a better way to have done it? Should you have lost your anger? I mean, are you not more humane when you do things more in a more civil manner? You know, those are some of the questions that come to my mind from time to time when I seem to have lost that control. You know, so like you said, it's work in progress, but you have to be conscious of it and keep at it. Thank you.
Amazing,
you very much, Mr.
amazing.
Edache.
Thank you, Mr. Edache.
Okay. Any other person would like to share an experience or ask a question, please?
Okay, we can have closing final words from Mr. Ndubisi and Madam Nnenna.
Oh, thank you very much.
If there's no other question.
I hope I contributed my own 2 cents. You know, we're learning inside this.
You did more than 2 cents, sir. Mr. Alex, this is not fair now. Why will you be eating that marinated chicken? Please, warn yourself. Turn off that video. What's that? Okay, Mr. Ndubisi, sorry, I was distracted by the chicken. No, I just had to interrupt. Forgive me, please. That chicken just entered my face. Oh my God. Yeah, Mr. Ndubisi, you did contribute more than 2 cents. It was very practical. And amazingly, you know, when I have experienced Madam Nnenna as well. And it came to a point, you see that metacognitive thing you said, right? I began to use it. And what I would say to myself is, okay, I'm getting angry and I can feel my body vibrating. Because the truth is, all these emotions, like you rightly said, is actually it reflects on our body. You will know when your emotions are negative. There's a book, Deadly Emotions.
Let me emotions are literally chemicals discharged from the brain into the body. So every emotion has a chemical signature, and it's like a database all in the brain. So there is the chemical signature or the chemical makeup for anger. There is the one for happiness. There's one for gratitude. So there's something when they say, when you have to think higher than you feel. If not, you enter into an emotional loop. So this is what it is. I say something that annoys you. You are angry.
Wow.
The brain receives anger. Immediately, the brain goes into the hardware and downloads the chemical signature for anger. And, you know, on its side, just turns it over and then it gushes through your body. So you're feeling angry, right? But the danger here is that the more you feel angry, the more you send back through the neurons, right? You send back information to the brain. I am still angry. The brain goes, oh, more anger, right? It turns in more doses of that chemical emotion signature called the anger emotion. So you are angrier, and then you're feeling angry before you know you start to think angry. So you're thinking and feeling the same way. So you're actually in a loop, going round and round. Somebody now tells you, Madam, it's okay now, calm down. In your mind, you want to calm down, but you can't bring yourself to calm down because you've been slammed into that thinking and feeling loop. So the brain is just adding more doses of chemical of anger. You're feeling it. So meditation, you can sludge that kind of loop. So you go into a meditative state and kind of breathe through it so that you kind of start thinking higher than you feel. That way you can break that kind of cycle. But we can discuss that on another day.
Thank you. So, you know, in order to just apply, okay, Meg, you want to say something?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ndubisi. You know, there's actually a saying that says that you cannot control other people's feelings towards you. You can't control how they will deal with how you feel, but you can actually control yourself towards another person's actions.
Absolutely.
So because you are the one that matters. And so you need to be really, really careful in such a way that it doesn't affect you. Because, you know, if you're not happy, if it your health, it affects your health.
Yeah.
Whichever way you look at it affects our health. Is it that we are happy? It affects our health. So we really need to take that into cognizance because you can control yourself. You may not be able to control other people's actions towards you, but you can control yourself. And it's very, very important because we are important. We are our first customers, not other people. You are the first customer to yourself, not to another person. Thank you.
Yeah. Final words from Madam Nnenna.
Okay, thank you, everybody. In fact, I've learned a lot again. You've refreshed me this evening. Well done, you've done very well. So for me, freeing myself daily from all those emotions, and like he said, first thing in the morning, I decide You know, you can actually take control of yourself and your day and decide how you want your day to be. And you decide, and the Bible says, call things that be not as though they are, and they will become. So I tell myself, today I am happy. I'm a happy person. Today I'm successful. Today I'll find favor with everybody I come across. And sometimes those things can challenge, they'll be challenged. But once you remember that you have taken a decision in the morning that this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be henceforth. And you have I have my affirmation book that writes the things I want to become. So from time to time, I just go back to that book and look at, you know, and look through it. So it reminds me of the state and the consciousness that I'm supposed to carry through that day. So I just continue affirming. Sometimes I'm just walking down, you know, and nobody knows. Under my breath, I'm just telling myself, this is who I am. This is, you know, what I'm going to do. So I just keep making declarations from time to time, you know, and that consciousness just makes you continue to recreate who you are into who you want to become. And then you continue to clean up your inside and replace them with, you know, who you want to become. Another thing that helps and that really helped me is focusing on videos from YouTube or faith messages, or, you know, like the science part he talked about. I had to go deep into science to understand how the brain and the mind function. So I had to study that, you know, and then that even helps me understand the Bible more when I read the Bible, because now I understand how all those neurons and everything affect the body. So when the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. When it says out of the abundance of the heart, so science has now aligned with religion to say that, you know, that there's power, the power of the mind. So I do a lot of positive affirmations daily, just to remind myself and keep myself in that loop of don't lose it, don't lose it. So even when I lose it, like he said, I can kneel down for anybody. I go and apologize to anybody and I say, I'm sorry, I did not mean to do this. And I find out that when somebody hurts you and you respond in love, it's an unexpected response. So it actually changes that person. Instead of the person now coming back to continue fighting you, they become shocked and they're wondering why, because that's not what they expected from you. So that's how I've been managing myself, and I'm still growing, learning to manage the mind. I've done a lot of lessons on the mind, how the mind functions, and I found out that I can actually, like he said, sit back and observe my thoughts and question my thoughts. You know, I also learned that when you question your thoughts, like when you say to yourself, okay, assuming somebody was supposed to, let me say your boyfriend did not call you, and you start wondering, maybe he doesn't love me anymore. Then you ask yourself, what makes you think he doesn't care anymore? You know, so the more you question those thoughts and you ask yourself, how would you feel if you think that he doesn't care anymore? That's exactly how you are feeling. Then you now change it to ask yourself, who would you be without the thought that he doesn't care anymore? You know, you just sat by yourself because an action, maybe the person normally calls, the person didn't call, and you make a decision that the person doesn't care. Meanwhile, that's not what has happened. And by the time you create that energy, that negative energy, energy has a way of traveling, and it will also impact on that person, and the person's response will also become negative. So you just keep transferring negative and negative energy, and it just messes up the whole thing. So what I do every day is, from the morning, I free myself, I decide who I want to be, I have my affirmations. Even when I run into blocks that I want to, you know, turn it around, I just keep affirming, you know, this is who I want to be. This is just that consciousness. Once we remain in that consciousness, then we'll keep growing, you know. So that's my.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Madam Nnenna. Thank you, Mr. Ndubisi. And you know, I had to apply what Madam Nnenna taught us. So I compiled some of my affirmations or confession, as you want to call it. And if you'd like to take it with us this evening, I know we're supposed to finish by 8. So, but you can stay back and take the confession with us. I'll just share my screen and we can take it together if you don't mind.
Okay, Agnes, can I just share something, one last word?
Okay, please go ahead, ma. I'll stop sharing. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Another thing that helps that has helped me, which I learned, is learning to love, what is, and let accept what is. That's loving any situation you find yourself in, and not fighting the situation. So whatever happens to me in life, like the other day, Greatness she was trying to tell me something and she felt maybe she didn't know I was going to take it. And I told her, I said that there's nothing that happens to me that is not for good, that everything works together for good for me. So even the good, the bad, and the horrible, when they come, initially it's not very easy, but learning to accept everything in good faith, no matter how bad the situation is. Once you accept it and take it positively, it helps the situation to change. For instance, there was an extreme of something that happened to me, which I shared with her. I lost my job at some point. And when that happened, I was happy. I took it well. I did everything I was supposed to do, because I had I had found out how faith works and how staying positive can actually, change whatever situation you are in. Because when something happens and you go into negative energy, what happens is, if there's any good thing coming to change that situation, it will not come to you. You keep repelling it because you have entered into the negative energy zone. So to constantly stay in the positive, accept whatever situation that is happening to you, and love the situation, enjoy it. It's difficult, but you make up your mind and say, okay, for instance, let me say somebody that is in a bad marriage, what do you have to do about it? Just continue loving, enjoy, find a way to just enjoy it. And you find out that in a matter of time, things will change. But when you keep judging the next person and judging the situation, you are doing yourself more harm than good, because you're piling up negative energy around you. And once you have negativity around you, whatever blessings God has released for you, you cannot attract it. So you keep repelling the blessings or whatever positive things are coming your way, and you keep complaining that bad things are happening to you, but you are the one that has created the zone.
Wow. Somebody trying to call me. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you. I'm here.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, Madam Nnenna's network, I guess,